Hi, I'm Leon LaVoice, and this is Unstoppable Force. I got a news story for you, and it's this one's from Heavy.com, but it's about the DNC lawsuit. I need to talk about it because it's pretty important. And I watched some videos about it. When I watched the video on the Young Turks about the DNC lawsuit, I didn't really pay attention too much to it because sometimes I just not paying attention to some of the news stories, and that just happened to be one of them. And yeah, I do remember that. I remember that John Adirola dismissed it as, well, one specific line he talked about was, well, donations are donations, and of course that's not true. If you donate for something and somebody lied about it, they could actually go to jail for that because that's fraud. But the lawsuit, I also don't remember what Michael Schur and the other panelists said about it, or if it was just them too. But it's a really important case, and it's not just about the lawsuit. It's not just about getting money back to the Bernie Sanders supporters or the DNC donators that really wanted a fair election and didn't get that. Because two of the lawmakers, their last name's Beck. He did a video about the formal complaints that they're alleging against the DNC. And Beck, he said there are 6 claims to the case. The first one is the fraud against the DNC and Debbie Wasserman Schultz, stating that they broke legally binding agreements by strategizing for Clinton. The second claim was that it was of negligent misrepresentation. He said that was kind of very similar to the first one. The third claim is that they had deceptive conduct by claiming they were remaining neutral when they were not. Fourth is retribution for monetary donations to the Sanders campaign. The fifth is that the DNC broke its fiduciary duties during the primaries by not holding a fair process. And the sixth is for negligence, claiming that the DNC didn't protect donor information from hackers. So if they're just saying, you know what, we're going to try to get the money back for the Bernie supporters, they would have just had the claim about how they're getting retribution for monetary donations about the Sanders campaign, and that would have been it. But it's not just about getting money back for the Sanders supporters and donors. It's about how the DNC, from start to finish, just did, especially Deborah Wasserman Schultz, did everything in their power to make sure that Hillary Clinton won the primaries. And that's fraud because in their bylaws, they're supposed to make sure that they support every one of their candidates. And then FloridaSqueeze.com, they have a great article about this DNC fraud lawsuit because he goes on, or the author goes on. But it saddens me to see personal animus focused on Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Don't get me wrong, I want to see her answer for herself, but this is not a bad apple situation. As a personality politics narrative emerges, you have to be careful not to open the door to quick fixes that allow the real problem, corruption, to continue to fester. I believe the DNC fraud lawsuit reaches for justice beyond punishing individuals. It provides the means to address a corrupt system that produces or stains folks like Debbie Wasserman Schultz. This isn't about a single bad apple or a few bad apples. It's about a broken, corrupt system. When you read the transcript of the recent hearing, you find the judge is interested in more than the simple idea of fraud. He wants attorneys to respond to more lofty matters like democracy and fairness. That's because the Southern District of the Federal Court, where Judge William Solt presides, is not Judge Judy's courtroom. Federal court often takes broader public interest in account when considering the law. I'll leave a link to this article because the whole article wraps it up more than just a couple lines. But near the end of it, he does talk about, without fixing the problem of corruption, we could recruit and elect the best people ever to walk this earth that will either find themselves on the back bench or caught up in the dirty machinations surrounding them. So it's a well written article, and you guys should read it. It's pretty good. And it just really talks about the heart of the matter, that our political system is just corrupt to the core, and we need a lot of reforms. So what could potentially happen with this lawsuit is that a courts could say, you know what, the DNC and W. Wasserman Schultz are found to be guilty of all these fraud charges with every single claim that they strategized for Hillary Clinton when they shouldn't have. They neglect. They didn't represent the Democratic Party and the DNC like they should have. They were not neutral, and they claimed they were, etc. and so forth. So what we're going to do is we're going to oversee the DNC to make sure they're not going to push or pull any strings behind the scenes to favor one candidate over another. And what we're also going to do is we're going to legally force the DNC to get rid of superdelegates. There's no way that this supports the people of the United States, especially the people in the Democratic Party. So we're killing the superdelegates. We're also going to, then maybe they could also say, we're also going to make sure that there's no lobby, somebody that's ever been a lobbyist cannot be a member of the DNC or a leadership position of the DNC, because they're going to have their influence based on whichever company or companies or which people gave them money to lobby on behalf of. So they're going to undermine the will of the people in the Democratic Party. So that's no longer allowed. And if they regulate all these instances and they regulate all these processes, it'd be a great move for our political revolution.